Hello, everyone. Welcome to the TopCyberPro podcast, season three. And my goodness, this season has gone and blown by super quick. Time flies. And speaking of time, we got a guy that is just, oh my goodness, I don't know where to begin because I've known about this guy since March of 2013, even before March of 2013. And the reason why I keep saying March 2013, that's an important date because that is when I achieved my project managed professional certification. And when I was looking for resources, free resources, because when you're starting out, you don't want to have to pay a lot of money out of pocket. And this guy's website, which we'll talk about later, and then you're going to want to check the description below for that link because he had a tool and resource that was crucial for me as a young person learning about project management that helped me because when you read the PMBOK, and no offense to PMI, they have wonderful resources and libraries. But one of the things I never could wrap my head around when I was going through the PM body of knowledge was when you read the chapters very sequentially, you're like, what does 3.4 go into 3.6 and this? And I was lost. But this man did for everyone in the world was put together a process flow where it shows you from the inputs and outputs and the tools and methods that you would use at every step of the way from the beginning to the end of a project. And that process flow guide that he has provided for free for years, and he's updated and maintained it through every version of the PMP, of the PMBOK. And he's done it without charging anyone. He could have easily made it a paid to download type of asset, but he provided it for the world. And this man has went on since that time. I've watched his career. He has won awards. He's been on multiple stages. This man is, I would consider him level 99 at the top. When you think of the top experts in program and project management, this guy is easily for me in the top five. And here he is, Mr. Ricardo Vargas. So thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
being on
Jim.
this podcast.
Yeah, no, thank you very much for your kind words, and it's a pleasure to be with you today. And I'm super happy that the resources I built helping you and other people. This is make me very grateful for making this available. So thank you for having me.
I tell you, this guy, not only when you think of like project management, program management, he's top in that field, but he's also, he's leading the charge for project and program management and AI because, we're entering this new world where everything's AI. I've been to like eight, nine conferences in the past 12 months, and 90% of the topics are AI. And not a lot of people are carrying the banners moving forward on the battlefronts of really leading the direction on educating people for how AI is benefiting industries and in sectors and positions, like particularly for PMs. And so Ricardo and another gentleman put together a formal class in education and certification, which is the first, I believe it is the first AI project management certification that's available.
Yeah. There are others, but we were very happy because at the end of last year we were selected and considered the best one, and we are already releasing the version 2 of the certification now. I would say because it's something. Let me give you a context, Jim, on why. Because when you said about the PMBOK and the process flow, and now you're talking about AI. It sounds like two different things, but it's the same thing.
Mhm.
So I have a mission. I work with project management for pretty much 30 years. And it means that pretty much
Yeah.
all my professional life
Yes.
is dedicated to project management. So I became a PMP, if I'm not wrong, 1999. So it means it's 25 years ago. It was still on paper and this kind of things. And one thing that I'm very grateful for what project management did for me. And I feel, I would say, an obligation to help those who are, I would say, on this same journey, because I believe really that helping other people is the best way we can do to foster our profession and deliver value. So I did that. But when we saw in November 2022, Antonio Nieto and I, when we saw what was coming, I say, look, we have a big wave
Yeah.
coming that if we are not prepared, it can become a tsunami. It can become a tsunami for most of the project managers. And of course, I'm talking project managers, but I would say and expand this to several areas of working activities. But I said we need to do something. And then we published our article, How AI Will Transform Project Management, published by Harvard Business Review. And it was a big, big success, much bigger than what we expect. We stayed almost 10 weeks on the top 10 articles. And this is very unusual for a project management certification because if for management in general, then yes, but for project management, it's not. And everything we are doing since then is to leverage and prepare project management for what is coming and what is already here, because
Here.
we truly believe that we are facing what is coming is much bigger, in my opinion, than the change and the growth of agile in the thousands. And
Yes.
I'm certified as Scrum Master, I'm certified on SAFe, I'm certified on all Prince 2, everything. And it's big because it has a massive potential of transformation. This is why Antonio and I, we decided to create the masterclass, and this was our first endeavor. And then we decided to say, okay, we heard a lot of people talking about AI, project manager, oh, AI, and say, do they really know what they are talking about? Because, I see people now doing, a pivot table on Excel, and they say, we are doing AI. And say, no, 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 you are not doing AI. It's a different thing. We are talking, and then we started educating people, and we are super happy because 250 people already certified in our credential, and we are doing this by ourselves. And we are doing the monthly webinars, we are releasing tools, and we are trying to do our best to leave no one behind.
Wow. I tell you, I'm one of the first, probably first couple hundred that signed up. I have not taken my exam yet because life gets busy. Prior to starting recording on this podcast, Ricardo and I were talking about we've been trying to connect for almost a year, and both of our busy schedules. He speaks and travels around the world, and I do as well. And life sometimes in work and things just come at us in waves and waves and nonstop of list of priorities. And one of the beautiful things about AI is that when we think of project management, it has a start and an end for a project, right? And you have resources, constraints, challenges, and you run it through a process, a formalized process to capture the work and get work done. And you start to think, okay, AI is this great, powerful technology that we have, but it's can be kind of a wild west because there's multiple platforms. We know the usual suspects like ChatGPT, Perplexity. There's a couple that are the normal usual suspects, but it is an ocean of solutions looking for a problem. And so having this education to inform PMs out there of, what this tool is supposed to do. So that way, if they are going down the path of a platform that might not be as solid as another one, they would probably know what right looks like and at least know how they can leverage the power of AI into the work they need to do. Because at the end of the day, if the technology can save you time, that's all we have. That is the one commodity we have a very finite amount of, and time, right? And when we think of project management, it's always what? It's always about the cost and time, right? And that's those two and money, right? You have the cost and so we have I'm sorry, CPI and
So
SPI, right?
oftentimes, yeah.
Yeah. And so having a certification like this is wonderful. And I will pull up the website in a minute because I do want to shine more of a light on that cert. But I want to talk about other things that you've also, you founded a tool called is it PM Auto or PMO? How do you pronounce the website?
I call it PMODO
PM
because
Auto.
the name Odo comes from the Danish name Odo because I started doing that during the time I was living in Copenhagen, and
Okay.
my partner still lives there, so it's PMODO that
Okay.
we call. Yeah.
So, and I'll have a link to that site, and I'll actually show that site. Could you tell us a little bit about what that tool's goal is? Like, if I'm a project
Yeah.
manager, I hear of AI, and I know I can have it generate, like generative AI is easy. Everybody can use a platform to create words. But what would a tool and service like PM Auto do for a program manager?
Okay, no, that's perfect. So let me, but before I answer directly, let me just go back a little bit. One of the critical challenges for project managers in AI, it's the tool side that you mentioned perfectly, but it's even above and beyond because we have two pieces of work for project managers. One is the use of tools and technology to deliver the projects. This is one use. And the other one is who will develop these tools?
Yeah.
Project managers. So project managers are working on OpenAI to develop the new ChatGPT. They're working. So these two dimensions of our work, one as a user and the other one as a project manager. So we discuss a lot, and this is something that is very close to my heart. It's the ethical use of AI. The concept of misuse, the concept of fake information, generate fake, because AI is completely agnostic. It means you can do great things and terrible things
Yeah.
using the same channel. It's like social media. You can do great things, connect
Yeah.
people, but at the same time, you can, spread fake news and this. So one of the key aspects of the course and the certification is how we can have an ethical use, how we can use really to foster our potential and not to create more damage than it's needed. So this is one thing I want to highlight. But now talking on PMOTO. So what was the idea of PMOTO? It's most of ChatGPT and this, they are in some ways generic in content. It
Mm-hmm.
means ChatGPT, I can put out a recipe for a burger. I can discuss faith. I can ask questions about the PMP exam, and I can ask questions about marketing. I can do whatever I want there. So what we did, we customized ChatGPT with a set of specific training language that it's like talking to a project manager. So it gives you it's when you say PMI, it will understand that is the Project Management Institute and not Philip Morris International, the cigarette company. So, these are simple things. But, when you have a ChatGPT with trillions of tokens, it's very hard. So the PMOTO was aimed to do that and also was aimed to help organizations to put their own data on private servers where they will learn from their data without mixing to, I would say, the public data.
Yeah.
This is a very, very important point of PMOTO. And now, the PMOTO now is one part of the venture. So if you think about the AI-driven project management revolution, this is a program that Antonio and I created. And this program has several parts. One part is a thought leadership in this, where we publish 3, 4, 5 articles, content about the topic every year. So we publish already, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 articles on that. This is the first. The second is the masterclass. We are moving now to the masterclass number 7. The third one is the certification, the AIPM. And the fourth one is the AI Venture Lab. Because I have a very, I would say, good experience in venture in the startup world, because I am self-made, so I did many startups, so I was very successful in some of them. So since 1999, before the bubble of the dot-com, I was already doing that. And the venture lab, so what we are trying to partner with people with great ideas, and they will lead. And Antonio and I, we are becoming a part of the board of directors, their strategic advisors, to really, our aim is to really create the first unicorn in project management that using AI. And then PMOTO is one of them, okay? Predictor is another tool that helps you to select the best projects. You based on historical information and based on yes or no question, we can calculate the chances of success of your project even before you start.
Wow.
And the third one that we are releasing now is Harmony. This one is an absolutely cutting edge technology, because Harmony is an AI agent. It's a project manager.
Wow.
Jim, you can use Harmony as a team member of your work. You can assign tasks to Harmony. You can ask Harmony, prepare this schedule. Harmony, prepare this report for me. Harmony, do that. And using the concept of AI agents, generative AI, it will do the work. It's like a real project manager. And we are developing more than 300 different abilities for it. For example, prepare budget, share budget, work with over budget resource, do a value analysis, do benefit analysis, all these tasks. And it will be connected to all main tools like Asana, like Jira, like Trello, all of them, Smart Sheets, all of them, Google Sheets, will be connected in a streamline. So you can just write an email to Harmony, for example, in the middle and say, Harmony, please prepare a risk management about this project. I'm sharing with you. And then you attach the charter, whatever you have, to done. And then it will come back in a few
Wow.
minutes to you this first risk register. It can be respecting the standards and the templates you are using in your company, and this will be released now. So, and this is a TechStart product that is in Cambridge, in Boston, and it's a very, very
Wow.
nice.
My mind is
Yeah,
blown listening to this
yeah, it's
because
very disruptive,
in the
very
past few
disruptive.
months, and we're just at the beginning of 2025, right? We're January 2025. And in the past 90 days, a lot of top experts in AI are talking about the next revolution in AI is now team members and employees that are AI agents, right? And here you are
Yes.
again, leading the forefront for project
Yes.
management with an AI agent. Is there, and again, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but is there a way you can show us the harmony and I can maybe give you?
Yeah, we will show soon. I don't have it
Okay.
access here. We are preparing because we want to show this on the official release in a couple of
Okay.
days. So
Well,
we
I'll
will,
definitely
but you can check the
the
website
website.
Harmony. Yeah, and you will see because we'll do our first demo. I would say
Demo
open
there.
demo.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
In
That is
2 days, and
amazing.
who will be the CEO? It's important.
Yes.
Sean Harris is the CEO and he is the founder of Harmony, and we were the ones helping him to craft and the vision and what is important for project management and this. So it's a great partnership, and we had the chance to learn a lot. By the way, Jim, in a couple of weeks, I hope I will have my new LinkedIn course on AI agents too.
Okay.
And it will be free on LinkedIn. So
Wow.
it's not released yet, but it's coming very soon.
So one of the things that if you're watching this right now, you're like, I want to know when this stuff comes out. I will have Ricardo's LinkedIn profile in the description below. So definitely follow this man and all the great work that he's doing, advancing project management with the current emerging technologies. It's just brilliant what this man does. Ricardo, I know we don't have nearly enough time to talk about everything that we could possibly talk about, but one of the things I do want to talk about though is you're a man that I mean, I know you're super busy and you're in demand with so many places. If anyone looks up anything about you on Google, they're going to find that you've spoken at like many, many conferences. You travel a lot and you do a lot of advisory work. You're a board member on multiple boards. You've racked up probably several cabinets of awards and acknowledgments for the great work you do. But of all the accolades, of all the events you've been to, is there a moment that you're most proud of? I mean, I know creating a certification has got to be one of those highlights of a career. But when you think back 30 years, man, what is like
Yeah.
that? What is that Mount
I
Everest
think
moment for
I
you?
think this, of course, this would be hard, but is not. For me, the most relevant time of my life was when I was leading the project management and infrastructure at the United Nations, because I had the chance to see the power of project management to truly save lives,
Wow.
truly save lives. So I did. I don't know, but I would guess maybe 1,000, maybe more than 1,000 from all sizes in 129 countries were led by us. And this makes me so proud because, the concept of scale, the concept of value. So we built refugee camps,
Hmm.
roads, maternity clinics, hospitals, schools. I would say connecting construction and infrastructure with humanitarian aid. And in places like Haiti after the earthquake,
Yes.
in South Sudan, in places like Afghanistan, in places like Somalia, in places like Syria. So it's Iraq. It's extremely rewarding because you see really that the profession I decide to follow, you too, Jim, can transform. It's not only about profit. It's not only about making money, but it's a way of improving results, improving livelihood. So this was absolutely for me because, I was living in Copenhagen. It's such a nice city. And then suddenly I was traveling to war zones. I was, for example, during the Islamic State, I was something like 30 kilometers. This is, I would say, 20 miles away from the war line, truly the war line in Mosul. So, and then you see the impact of the humanitarian work you do to support this. This is for me priceless. Okay. I have so many things that I'm proud, but this one, I am really, really, I was so fortunate of having this opportunity to work because it just changed my mind.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. I mean, I already had a lot of respect for Ricardo, but him just sharing that right now, I'm smiling, because this is a high quality human being right here, where it's not about, like you said, it wasn't about the profits, because most of project management we think about time and money and getting work done so the business can do business. But he was in the business of helping human beings, helping rebuild villages, provide clean water, all of these multiple projects and in combat and war zones. Wow. I mean, thank you so much for the work
Yeah.
you did.
No, yeah,
That is
this
amazing.
is, of course, Jim. Of course, I work, I make money, but I think sometimes people are just a little bit blindfolded. They think that there is just one path, and of course, I want to make money, I want to have a good life, and this, but it's important also to help other people to move. This is why, for example, the PMP, why I didn't sell the process flow. I could have done that, but
You
why?
could.
Okay, I will make some money. Okay, and so what? Probably many people would not buy that and will not pass the exam
Yes.
because of that. So now I'm super happy to see that we have a profession that is flourishing, that people are learning, and it is what it. This is why, for example, I have so many courses that are free, and this, of course, some of them are paid because, of
Mhm.
course, I need to pay my bills. But
Yes.
it's not only about that. Life is not like a bank account.
Yes.
There are other things in life, and I'm not saying that you should forget that
Yeah.
and do just philanthropy, but it's not. But there is a balance. We can do that. For example, an event like this one, talking to you, it's an example. So because maybe someone can listen to this and you can inspire someone, and then someone can do good, and then it becomes more meaningful. When you said to me that you pass on the PMP because you saw that, this makes me super happy. This gives me a lot of reason to continue doing what I'm doing. This is what matters.
And every industry in the world is better because you're in the world, Ricardo. So, a lot of folks that are watching at this point say, Jim, the Top Cyber Pro podcast is usually talking about cybersecurity, this or risk management or something more IT cyber related. Why are we talking again about project management? Well, anyone that's worked in as a professional cybersecurity, whether you are managing the work or not, or you are a stakeholder or a person part of the team that's implementing a process or part of a project, you're doing project management every day with work that's tracked and documented. And so this is relatable, whether you're a piece of the team that's moving the project forward, or you're a person that's managing it, or you're either going to be a constraint yourself or you're going to be someone as a stakeholder delivering the work. But Ricardo, can you maybe explain why project management, especially in regards to the focus of IT cyber, having that formal process and the methodology of going through that process, why that's important.
Because, look, for example, cyber. I just read yesterday the World Economic Forum Global Risk Report 2025. And, and it's highly on the top, the concept of AI and cybersecurity. Because as we move towards technology, cybersecurity becomes the new crime. I'm not the new, but becomes the crime. And so there are really a war happening in the cybersecurity field, and this means projects will be developed all the time. And we need to improve success rate of these projects. For example, deadlines will become more extreme, complexity will increase, volatility will increase, it's already increasing. So if you do not have a minimum mental process to organize your ideas, what will happen? It will be chaotic.
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
will
Yeah.
lose the pace. We are already, look, honestly, I do this for a living, and many times I feel chaotic. So imagine without that. So your chances of losing control and do mistakes or or developing a tool that will put in risk other people. We saw the incident with Microsoft recently. We saw the disaster of Sonos recently with their app. It's so easy to fail. It's so easy. And this is why every single person in the tech field needs to have a mindset of project management. A mindset means a mindset that, I need to structure things, I need to have, and I'm not saying you need to be a bureaucrat because bureaucracy does not get you anywhere,
No.
but you need to have this in mind. And this for people in tech is even more critical because honestly, if you work with a project in the oil sector, you do a lot of projects, but these projects are 5 years, 10 years, 8 years. From one day to another, okay, things may change. But in technology, one day is everything. 1 week is everything. 1 week is what split your project from success to failure. It's not. There is no way we think in 3 years, 5 years, or something like that, because this do not exist today.
Yes.
Look AI. They are releasing things as we speak every day. Every day there's something new.
Yeah. There's
So
AIs,
this
there's
is
new
why
applications, there's updates, there's constant vulnerabilities and threats. It's a never ending. It's like running a fire department, always responding
this
to a
is
fire.
why it's absolutely critical for us to keep this in mind. Because if you do not manage, it's like you driving a car, covering your windshield, covering, okay, you may end up well at the other side, but the chances will be very low.
Wow. So again, we could talk so much about project management, and I know I want to respect your time. So I ask all my guests this, and I want to ask you the same question because I'd love to hear this story. But what was, if we could go back in a time machine, 25, 30 years ago on day one, when the young Ricardo said, "This is what I want my career to go in this direction, and to learning everything I can about project management." What's the story behind your day one?
Yeah, my day one, I was always I come from a simple family in Brazil, so resources were not very big. Okay, we have a lot of challenges when I was a child, and then I learned since very young age to transform things. For example, to create my own games. For example, I created a Monopoly because we didn't have money to buy a Monopoly game. So I created one. I create the pieces,
This
the
is
board with paper and everything. And I created the game because
uh
I could not afford to buy it. But honestly, do you know what happened? This I was 8 years old. When the board game was done, I never played with the board. For
wow.
me, the fun was to build it, was not to play. And then I started doing that. I love to create things. create ideas in this. And then when I found project manager, I'm a chemical engineer. Okay, I'm a chemical with master in industrial and a PhD in civil engineer. So I'm a full engineer. And then I said, why not using this as a profession? Because it's so interesting, this transformative nature. For example, to have an idea of a book and write the book. To have an idea of a house, deliver the house. To have an idea on a travel, do the travel. So I am, I would say, the execution person to transform ideas into reality. And then I saw project management when I was a student of chemical engineering. Then I saw, wow, this is perfect. This concept of scheduling critical path, this was the time, resource allocation. So bingo, I found what I want to do. And then I came into that.
Wow, I love that. Um, wow. I mean, what a great story. I mean, always a creator, and I love the fact that you found the method to help you be creating things better and faster. I love it. I love that. That's a
Yeah.
wonderful story. We there's a part of the podcast, and I want to go ahead and segue to this is where I ask just we kind of go off topic for a moment where I ask some what I call the speed round of questions. It's just a couple of questions, kind of bring some levity into the discussion. So if you're ready, I'm just going to ask you some questions, just no right or wrong answers. Okay, here we go. First one up is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes, it's
Oh,
a
yes.
sandwich.
Okay, very affirmative. Yes. Cake or pie?
Cake.
Cake. Okay. What kind of cake?
Chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake. Okay. What is your most favorite book of all time, and what's the last book you've read?
The first book, the probably is Crime and Punishment from Dostoevsky. Probably is the most remarkable. It's a brilliant book,
Yes.
and that I read. I would say, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, and it's still in very deep in my mind. The consequences of our decisions and
Yes.
the last book I'm reading is the biography of one of a very famous singer in Brazil called Ney Matogrosso. And I'm reading his bio that I'm trying, honestly, to read less project management related
Yeah.
topics. And also I read more than one book. And the other one is about philosophy that I just started. Let me just take the name here. Give me
Okay.
1 second because this is a super nice, but this I'm starting now. It's give me a second. Give me a second. It's how how to think as a philosopher.
Oh, philosopher.
Talking about the thoughts of philosophers and thinking. And the author, I'm just getting here, and the author Peter Cave. Peter
Okay.
Cave. So it's these are the two I'm reading. And why I'm reading two books at the same time? Because sometimes I don't want to read one, then I start reading the other.
The
So
other
I
one.
move with
Yeah.
both at the same time.
Wonderful. If you wouldn't mind sending me the links to those books, and I'll make sure they're in the description below.
Absolutely, absolutely, I can do that.
So, one of the other questions I ask a lot of my guests is because you talked about your day one story, how you built your first Monopoly board, and it's a thank you for sharing that story, by the way. But once you started your career, I know you did, the engineering was part of your studies and so forth. But is there throughout your career, is there anybody that you would want to just shine a light on their name that had been a mentor to you? Because to me, you've been a mentor at one point to me with project management processes. And I trust me, every time someone comes to me and says, "Hey, I'm going to study for my PMP," I say, "Hey, RicardoVargas.com. I'm going to shoot you the link, get his process flow, put it on a plotter, print it, put it in your desk, your cubicle, your home on the wall, and every day try. And then if you have to, he's got a you got a YouTube video that walks you through the whole thing too. You're wonderful for that. And I always tell people to do that. And so in your career, though, who have been people that you've looked up to, that you've, admired or has even mentored or helped coach you throughout your career that you might want to pay homage to them?
Yeah, look, there are a few of them, but I want just to highlight two. One is my father, of course, because my father was the one that brought me this very deep sense of humanity. You know that we are not alone. We need to try to bring everybody together on the journey. So this was, I would say, something like the DNA of who I am. And the second person was my supervisor at the UN, Ian Matson. And this was, I was already 40, so I was not starting my career, but he was one of the biggest inspirations and someone that I will never, ever, ever forget. We are in touch even now, almost 10 years after
Wow.
leaving the UN, I'm in touch with him because he was an absolutely leader, an inspirational leader. So these are the two people that really were like, a lighting house for me to move forward. Of course, I have many others, but these two are, I would say, professionally very, very special for me.
Well, what I want to do now is because I said earlier in the video, I'm going to kind of show, and those that are listening to the podcast, unfortunately, you won't be able to see this, but if you go over to YouTube, you'll definitely see what I'm about to show. But the links are also below in the YouTube video. But I do want to share, if you just humor me for one moment, I want to pull up a couple of things for us to discuss, and the first one's going to be, let's see, let me share, and. So the first thing I have here is the PM Auto AI. Can you see it, Ricardo?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So I wanted to show people this, the link is in the description below, but I just wanted to kind of show and kind of shine a light on this wonderful thing that Ricardo's brought and is delivered for everybody to access and use. And so here it is. It's your AI powered assistant for all things project management. And you could definitely, click and read more about it, and find it on the GPT store and so
GPT store.
forth. So definitely, if you're interested, take a few minutes and click through it and learn more about this tool. Another thing, again, I want to come back to, and I've mentioned it more than once, is again, Ricardo-Vargas.com. And of course, it'll be in the description below for anyone. Save you the Google search. You can just click on the description. But this site right here is just a beautiful, tremendous, tremendous resource for anyone want to learn anything about project management. I mean, I can just go through any of these tabs and it's like a gold mine on every tab here. Resource insights. I mean, he's got, podcast episodes, he's got articles, the infographics, the processes flow that I highly, highly recommend for anybody wanting to learn project management process flow, because that to me is the key, not only for the exam, because, it's one thing to pass an exam, but to really ingest and understand a processes flow is tremendously important to program management. He's got downloads, videos. I mean, just under this one tab, this is a gold mine right here. And then, you look at the different industries with information about different industries. Of course, he does consulting, but I mean, he's got the free courses, some that you have to pay for, but there's a lot of free content here. And I just say to anyone watching this, if you've ever thought about getting project management, this site right here should be your first stop. There's plenty of YouTube channels, there's plenty of resources out there, but to me, I can't recommend a site more than this website. So if you're interested in a PMP, Ricardo Vargas, he's done so much content here that's just free. I mean, this man could have charged so much, created memberships and all these other things a lot of other people do, but this is a man that's got just a tremendous human being that's doing what I consider a public service in regards to project management for the world. And I'm sure there's still awards and accolades to be bestowed upon him and the rest of his career because of things like this. So again, check out this website, Ricardo Vargas. And the last thing I wanted to show people here is, he collaborated with Antonio here, Professor Antonio, and also congratulations on your doctorate as well. So you are also a professor as well, Ricardo. But they have the AI-driven Project Management Revolution certification. So the AI-driven Project Manager, or AIPM, is here. And I can tell you, I've already went through the first edition, and they're already updated. They're constantly improving the knowledge base. And that's something I love, because some people just do it the one time and they forget about it. They're like, okay, we done our thing. We're off to other better things, but they still take the time to go back through, take feedback, and they keep track of the trends and the changes that are constantly happening, and they're making updates to this certification. And that's something I love, because now that I'm signed up for it, I'm getting notified of, okay, here's this, here's that. So very, very proactively updating the certification. So I highly recommend folks that are considering trying to just, if it's not about the certification, it's about the knowledge you're acquiring that's going to help you be even better at being a project manager. So highly recommend folks to check this out as well. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. I just wanted to kind of visually show that to people watching. So I'm going to stop the share. So, Ricardo, I know we're about to
Thank
wrap up here soon, but
you.
I wanted to give you an opportunity because I know you're a board member. I know that you do a lot of volunteer work and nonprofit work, and you do so much. Hopefully, we didn't lose you there. Okay. Um, is there, I'm going to give you a moment to maybe talk and share about things that matter to you, like nonprofit charity work, volunteer work. So, it's what I call the opportunity to shine a light on
Thank
good
you.
causes.
Yeah. No, Jim, thank you. You were just amazing. I just want to say to you that I was not expecting you to show the website and this. So when we decided to record this podcast, it was not with any intentional now commercial or something like that. But I'm thank you very much. You were super kind with me on that. But one thing that I really want to say it's more on the AI and the moment we are living. I think people need to take what is happening seriously because I believe that in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now, things will be very different from
Oh,
today.
yes.
And 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 I am afraid and concerned by those who do not adapt, by those who do not, because they will face dramatic challenges when AI comes into place with all the volatility, etc. So we need one thing that concerns me is when I hear people, and I hear, and it's not only one voice saying, no, this what is happening in technology is nothing. It's something. Project management will continue to be absolutely the same. And this, I respect absolutely all visions, and it's fair that people think this way, but just be mindful because if it takes too long for you to look what is going on, uh, maybe you will miss that train. And this can be very brutal because technology is not waiting for Ricardo to come in or to Jim to come in. They are just moving at a lightning speed. So if you do not revisit, and this is what I'm doing all the time, I'm revisiting. Okay, are my courses still valuable in this scenario? What I'm doing on consulting, what I'm doing as a project manager every single day, because I don't want to be in a position where I say, look, what I have to offer to my company, to the companies I serve as an employee or as a professional is not worth anymore because ChatGPT or whatever can do that for me. And and this is something that I'm very concerned, and I don't see too many people sharing the same concern. I think many people are thinking, no, I can just use ChatGPT to write all my emails and this. But
Yeah, I think people are
remember,
misled because of the
this will
generative
come with a
AI
price.
is what gets the attention, right? Oh, I could write a book or I can have it make artwork for me. They think that it's going to replace just marketing and advertising, right? That's what most people say. Oh, well, they'll just replace marketing departments. It might take a 20-person marketing department, drop it down to one or two people. And they may be right. That's the first maybe impacts. And most people say, oh, well, I'm not in marketing. I don't got to worry about it. But what you said earlier about building a program manager agent, if you're a program manager out there and you're not learning about how to leverage these tools, because this is what it comes down to. Business is business and it's time and money. That's what project management's always been about, controlling costs and managing your time. And so when these tools and platforms are available, that's going to cost less than a salary. It works 24/7, doesn't need smoke breaks, lunch breaks, vacations. It's an agent can work 24/7. And then companies can take, instead of one employee that can only work, 40 hours or 60 hours or 80 hours a week, 24/7, 365 is an agent now. Replace that employee that could do 50x, if not more, than what the employee was capable of doing in the same amount of time. It's mind-boggling. So if people are out there under the impression that their jobs are always going to be safe, here's the thing. It's better to be prepared than to be caught flat-footed and you're already unprepared. you had no knowledge, and you didn't know how to even use the tool. Because again, even in departments, even if they phase it in slowly, you think, okay, I can see it coming. Well, it's better to be the person on the team that says, boss, I know about this technology. I know already how to use it, and be that person that's going to be, having some time instead of being the first group of people they may lay off because you have no experience with AI. So I would caution everyone to err on the side of caution. Educating yourself, becoming more resourceful should be the goal, and continuing education year by year is crucial more now than ever. And so I will agree with you, Ricardo. I don't think any I'll share a real quick story. RMF, right? There's Ask Sage AI by Nick Shalon, and he actually used the AI platform to accredit itself. When he went to go check with the government on how to do the accreditation, they told him it was going to be like 6+ months, and it was going to cost, I forget the exact number, but let's say it was like $200,000 and 6 months of waiting. He was able to accredit it with its own system at a cost of, I think, $20,000. The system accredited itself. And that accreditation, the paperwork was accepted by the government. That is groundbreaking because that means all of these security control assessors, all of these people that make up these teams,
Change the game.
they're about to face a potential devastation in this sector of the industry. And that's not it. There's many other use cases where AI, these agent team members are going to potentially replace. So it's better to be knowledgeable about AI, one, know the technology so that you can leverage it to be a more productive, effective employee, and then learn about it, because if you're plugged in and you got the information, you can prepare if you have to make a move. If you have to make a lateral, an adjacent career move, you're not caught flat-footed. And so I think the message of being prepared. But there's another thing you said that was really good. I wanted to come back to is you mentioned the whole thing about the technology, potentially replacing people. Remember, this is not a new thing. This has happened since like beginning of time where technology we created the vehicle. It replaced horse-drawn carriages. The industrial revolution where we created factories that had repeating processes, right? Then we had all those quality models, Deming, and there's so many others I could name, but all of these quality models came through, and then Burford project management came through as well. But then here's the thing, robotics. Remember back in like the 70s and 80s, these factories with the robots, and everyone's like, oh, robots are going to replace all our jobs, but they needed people to maintain the robot systems and so forth. Now we're in another change where once these AI employees start being created for the company, then there's still opportunity, but people need to be prepared. So I definitely
Yeah.
advise that. Ricardo, I wanted to go back to just if there was any. I know you're a board member on multiple boards, and you do a lot of nonprofit and volunteer work. Is there any charities, nonprofits that either you donate your time to, or that are near and dear to your heart that you want to shine a light on?
Look, I have a scholarship program on my online school that I decided to create, and I decided to create that at the beginning of the war in Ukraine, because several people from Ukraine, they used to be the students of my class, and then suddenly they could not afford it. Other priorities took place, and then when I said about giving back the money to all the people from Ukraine and this. Several people from other countries saying, "Look, I live in poverty. Why only Ukraine?" And then I decided to create this, and so far I donated, I think, 35 or $37,000 on that, and I give scholarship to almost 150 people. And this is something I really really like, and of course. I help a lot professional associations and this, and I do a lot of work, for example, when there is an accident or a tragedy, because I work a lot with crisis management. So I give some time as a volunteer to help people to understand. I would say in the management, the most important is every volunteer work I do. I try to do related to the project management because I think it's where I add more value
Yes.
it's by dedicating, sharing what I know, and not just labor, a normal labor. So this is what I do a lot.
Well, wow, kudos to you. That is such a wonderful thing that you're doing for people around the world. Again, as I said earlier, this is a brilliant leader in project management in the world, as well as a tremendous human being that gives of himself freely and willingly for so many things. So please check out the links below. He's got just, again, just gold mines of information on his website, and all his everything he touches is of value and very valuable to program managers, project managers everywhere. Last word on AI and project management, and I'll let you close out.
Okay, we will release these certificate, the new certification very soon. Not the new, but the updated, because as AI evolves, we are updating everything. 250 people already. We are doing our new masterclass. So if you want to join us on this journey, we also have a monthly webinar where it's absolutely free for you to share. So just there is no excuse for anyone to stay behind. Okay, it's just move with us, and we'll try to get everybody to the best possible way towards the future.
Thank you. Well, Ricardo, thank you so much for your precious time.
Thank you very much. Okay,
Thank you
thanks
for
for
all
your
you
time,
do
and
in the
thanks for being
world,
so kind with me.
and,
Okay,
and
thank you
keep
very much.
keep being you, Ricardo. You're a wonderful human being. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.